When I replayed the hypnotherapy session, there were certain parts where I'm like, I don't remember her saying that at all. All right, baddies, so we have a lot to get caught up on. It is part 3 of my video series on my Canyon Ranch experience. I went to Canyon Ranch, which is a luxury wellness resort, and I went there for work, but as a part of going there, I was able to try out 4 of their services, and the service that I'm going to be updating you all on today is hypnotherapy. Several of you have been asking about how this went. It was important for me to first give you context on why I even decided to do it. And it was something related to not just my airplane anxiety, but even deeper, not just grief, but specifically the trauma around how my dad passed away and me being there that night. So if you need the updates on that, definitely go watch part 2. There's gonna be a lot of context around why I decided to do hypnotherapy. Without further ado, I will tell you about my amazing hypnotherapy session. The therapist who was doing the hypnotherapy with me was actually the same therapist who I had visited earlier that morning to talk through performance mindset, and it really just ended up being a full-blown therapy session on all of the things that I just told you about. I was not expecting my performance mindset session to basically inform the way that hypnotherapy was run. One of my favorite things about my Canyon Ranch experience is just how customized the services were to me. It's not like I said anxiety and grief and they just had this template of how to hypnotize somebody who's dealing with anxiety. No, like she actually sat down and got to know my very specific issue, and she was very curious and inquisitive on how my airplane anxiety feels. Does it start at the airport? Does it start on the airplane? Is it just because of turbulence? Like, we just talked through so much of that. So by the time I came to my hypnotherapy session, she had literally written out a script that was customized for my airplane anxiety and something else that I'm about to share. It was crazy. Like, it ended up being around a 23 minute session, and she let me record the audio for the entire thing so that I can continue to listen to it in the weeks and months to come. The beginning of a hypnotherapy session is just meant to calm your body down. It's meant to put you in a super relaxed state so that you can kind of start tapping into that subconscious. She tells you it's completely okay for you to just not focus on what she's saying. You don't have to sit and hold on to her every word. You just need to relax. That is your only job during that time. In fact, if you fall asleep, that's completely fine. Apparently your ears are just constantly absorbing and hearing everything, regardless whether you think that you're hearing it. And a crazy thing happened, because I want to say around 15 to like 18 minutes in, I'm pretty sure I did fall asleep, because when I replayed the hypnotherapy session, there were certain parts where I'm like, I don't remember her saying that at all. I completely was knocked out during the ending parts. It's just reassuring to know that that's completely normal, and it might even be better because I was fully in that relaxed state. I want to tell you guys about this symbol. She asked me during the performance mindset session to come prepared to the hypnotherapy session with a symbol or a place that makes me feel powerful or relaxed, or just the way that I would like to, what I would like to embody on that airplane. I was in business school and I did a leadership coaching session. This was in 2019. I was having this constant issue come up where I felt like people were just talking over me or not listening to me. I did have a lot of imposter syndrome coming into my B school experience, and I would often be in these group projects where I felt like people just weren't listening to what I had to say. So I marched into this leadership coaching session kind of arrogantly, like, this is what I want to work on. She's like, sit down. Like, basically, settle down, sit down. This is what we're actually gonna do. One of the activities that she had me do in that session was to think of an inanimate object that I admired and wanted to be like. And I'm like, this is so weird, but whatever, I'm here for it. And for some weird reason, the inanimate object, the thing, the not alive thing that I really wanted to be like, was a planet. And she asked me to describe it, and I just felt like it was this huge purple planet with the rings around it. I just felt like it's undeniably powerful, but it's silent. It doesn't need to prove that it's powerful. It doesn't need anyone to see that it's powerful for it to be powerful. It is in alignment. So when you think about a planet in a solar system, it's exactly where it's supposed to be, doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and it's all just kind of part of the plan. So there's so much trust trust in divine presence in this beautiful planet that is just rotating on its axis, but also like in orbit with all of these other things. So there's this sense of individuality, but also this sense of community and collectivism. For me, it was just very deep. I'm like, yeah, I want to be like a planet. Like when you look at a planet, you're just in awe. When I came prepared to that session, I brought that up as one of the options of what I had brainstormed, and she just loved it. She's like, yeah, because when you think about that, a planet is not grounded. Like it's literally floating in space, but at the same time, it feels grounded. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually literally what I need on an airplane. Because on an airplane, I know I could put my feet on the ground and feel grounded, but I know that this thing is not grounded. I know that it is literally in the air. It is not on ground. And that is one of the things that makes me feel very nervous on an airplane. But when you think about a planet, like you don't ever think that the planet is just gonna fall out of orbit. At least I don't. Like I don't ever think that the Earth is just gonna fall, you know? Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud because I'll start thinking about it. But anyway, I don't think that. Like I never worry that the earth is going to fall. I need something that's gonna make me feel that trust, that level of trust and that level of faith that this thing that I'm in, where I'm at right now, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This airplane is exactly where it's supposed to be doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So she's like, bet, let's run it. Let me take this purple planet and infuse it into my script. I was so impressed. I literally had told her all of this and she edited her hypnotherapy script that she was going to take me through and incorporated a lot of the elements of this planet that was inspiring to me. So anyway, I think now is a good time to let you listen to some of the clip that she took me through, and then we can debrief it at the end and I'll let you know whether or not it worked on me.
You are seeing a picture of you boarding the plane and you are quite relaxed. You've already gone through the normal procedures to get to the airport. These normal procedures that hundreds and thousands of people go through every day. And you are quite comfortable as you're boarding the plane. You are ready. You are easily able to find your seat, and when you settle in, you feel very comfortable. And as everybody is taking their seats, you put your seatbelt on and you imagine yourself feeling very calm and relaxed. And you think about how the plane is similar to a car.
I hope you liked that. I hope it was calming and soothing. I listened to it on the entire airplane ride home. I was flying to Michigan. There was no nonstop flight, so I had 2 flights, which means 4 opportunities to be terrified. There's 2 takeoffs and 2 landings. That's what I'm most scared of. And when I tell you I was playing this thing for the entirety of the flight. And so I want to be honest with you and tell you something that she was honest with me and told me. It doesn't work the first time you do it. Contrary to popular belief, hypnosis is not magic. It's not meant to just go inside of your brain and zap whatever it is that's wrong that you want to fix and just fix it. That's not what it's designed to do. And while of course we all walk in, and I walked in a little bit like being idealistic, honestly, go inside of my brain. I don't care where you go, just clean this up. I don't want to deal with it anymore. But she had me record the session because hypnotherapy is designed to be done repetitively. And so the whole point of hypnotherapy is to have this audio recording where you're able to listen to it over and over and over and get yourself into that relaxed state. There's different brain waves that you're in. So when you're sleeping, your brain waves are a little bit different and you're a lot more suggestible in that state. That's why we have all these crazy dreams, because it's like stuff from our deep subconscious kind of coming out. So it's not magic, it's just the reality and the science, similar to meditation, similar to visualization, that when your body gets so relaxed that you're just so calm, you are what we call suggestible. And so then after that 15 minutes of her just calming me down with imagery of like walking into a forest and just all this beautiful visual stuff that fully calmed me down and low-key like made me fall asleep, from there you're in a prime position to have things suggested to you. So that's where she started suggesting things about the airplane and having me visualize myself checking in and getting on the plane and being so calm and being so trustworthy of the process and feeling so grounded. She had me kind of draw from the strength of that purple planet. And I just honestly like had so much respect for how that process is actually run. I think a lot of us have misconceptions about hypnosis or hypnotherapists, thinking that it is this mystical, magical thing, when in reality it is science. It's just so cool, the different things we have at our disposal to really help people change something about their beliefs, their subconscious beliefs, that they don't want to be there anymore. I will be continuing to listen to that recording. I find it to be immensely helpful. On the airplane, it really calmed me down. And one thing it helped me learn is this loop that I was in between my thoughts, my feelings, and my body that would then feed that loop. It was this vicious cycle that I was in. When you have a thought of you being scared, let's say you are scared of a roller coaster, and then you can start to imagine your body gets tense, kind of like what I had described to you in parts 1 and 2 about how my body tenses up when I panic. Everyone has different panic responses, but for me, I tense up, I start getting kind of hot, and I start like sweating a little bit. Then what ends up happening is that my body reaction fuels my thought that there's something scary happening, because your thoughts, your brain is looking for cues from your environment. And if your body is exhibiting that fear, it starts to make you believe that that thing is true just by virtue of your body exhibiting what that would be like. And so on the airplane, one thing that really worked for me this time, that has never worked for me in the past, was just trying to focus on one thing in that loop and interrupting it so I could interrupt the vicious cycle. And what felt easiest for me to kind of interfere with and control was my body. So I started just physically calming my body down, even though I was still scared, even though I still had all of those panic thoughts. When I was able to kind of interfere and just physically calm myself down, physically focus on calming, listen to the hypnotherapy audio and let that help me actually calm my body down. So I found that the thoughts and the feelings got slower. Like, it literally slowed down the rate of my panicked, frantic thoughts, which would then interrupt that cycle. And so while I was still scared, the level of fear on this go around, and there was turbulence on both flights. We were flying over the Rocky Mountains, so there's always a lot of turbulence. The level of fear was just so much more mild than it normally is. I'm not about to lie to you and be like, I did hypnotherapy one time and I'm good. Like, I love airplanes. And honestly, I hope one day I can get to that place. That's the goal for me, is to get to a place where I'm actually excited to hop on a flight. Ahmed is like that. My husband's like that. He loves hopping on flights, especially if he's sitting in first class. He he wants to get there early. He wants to savor every moment of it. And for me, I dread it so much, but it's such a part of my life that is not going anywhere. I have family that literally lives everywhere, and we're traveling multiple times a year. Right now we're in Michigan and I'm traveling back to LA in a week. I will continue to play that hypnotherapy session, and I know that it's going to tremendously help me. I'm thinking of just using it before I go to sleep, because that's, again, when your body is just naturally calm and you're just much more suggestible. But in addition to the hypnotherapy session, and something that came out of this therapist is EMDR, which I talked a little bit about. And EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprogramming. I think that that's the acronym for it, but basically how it was explained to me is when you do have a deep trauma, like the one I described in part 2, you have a set of beliefs associated to those images. Let's say someone you know got into a car accident. Chances are that accident has imprinted in them not just these scary images of being in a car and not knowing what's happening and, maybe not being able to take their seatbelt off, but a set of beliefs around that trauma also got imprinted in their brain during that incident. While they might be able to get in a car again, or they might be able to get past a certain fear, that trauma could move to a different area of their life because there's a certain fear. Maybe they weren't the ones driving, so now they have trust issues and they can't trust anyone else to be in control. So maybe it gives them relationship problems because they can't lean on their partner or depend on their partner, because last time they depended on someone to get them from point A to point B, it resulted in a crash. This is just a random example, but it's a very likely example because trauma is just very confusing and complicated. So EMDR therapy is designed to help you kind of go back to that original trauma and reprogram the beliefs you have around that imagery. So that's my immediate next step. I'm going to definitely find an EMDR therapist, just really focus on not living a life of fear. I don't want to live a life of fear, and I'm just so grateful, not just to the Canyon Ranch experience, but specifically to the therapist that I had while I was there, because she really helped me understand how those things play together. She just really helped me realize that this doesn't have to be a reality for me. I hope you like this 3-part series. I'll also be dropping a vlog on my experience there, because I took so much footage of just all the really cool things that I did, and I'm gonna be putting those together in a vlog in case you're interested. So definitely look out for that. Love you so much, baddies, and I will see you on the next one.